A fascinating idea is the argument of the houses of Shammai and Hillel, and to see how it's expressed in everything they did, this thought process and what they stood for. It's explained in Kutei Torah regarding the another argument that they had, that the Beit Shammai is outlook is that the end goal of everything is the recognition that one has Hakadosh Baruch Hu from within it. So therefore, one must serve Hakadosh Baruch Hu in a very defined, very disciplined manner, because this is what's ultimately going to awaken and give him the ability for more awareness of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Shamu Chotav, they were more, they had a more specific. You got to apply yourself, because your application is gonna retrieve the results of you having a stronger and deeper recognition of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. So, if you want to encapsulate this idea, it's to say that the content is reigns supreme. The content, our world that we live in has the physical aspect of things, and then the message it bears, and the message it bears will always have the dominance, because that's the end goal of everything in actuality. They're saying the end goal is not that there should be a deeper recognition of Hakadosh Baruch Hu, but rather Hakadosh Baruch Hu would express himself in full. This means that my end goal is not that what this is going to affect me in my recognition of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Rather, if Hakadosh Baruch Hu is fully expressed, then everything that's negative will fall to the wayside. This means that it could be this more aligned with whatever is expressed holds supreme, and this is typically with the physical world, physical arena, having it expressed reigns supreme, rather than the content and recognition, the potential. All these things that are not seen to the naked eye are secondary. We find this throughout 6 different places that they take this point. The first place we'll go to is what was created first, the Shemaim or the Aretz. And obviously, when we say the word Tchila, when we say what was created first, we're not only referring to first in order, we're saying what it holds supreme, what's considered the ideal. And when Beit Shammai tell us that the heaven was created first, that's the ideal, that's the end goal, and Beit Hillel say the opposing is that the Aretz is held at a higher pedestal, because that completes the end goal in a better way. So we have these two things expressing itself, these two opposing ideas expressing itself in one area of the Torah. Now, what I would just like to say is that the idea, when you work, we're going to see it in other arguments, when you work with saying, okay, what has more value, the potential of something happening, or of actually being expressed? How about if what's expressed is not fully expressed? How about it's only expressed in the partial? Does that mean that it's less than? What do I base my actions on? What actually happens here? When I have that question, so I could have that question, I could tell you, well, no. You know why potential is super important? Why do I need to celebrate why does that need to be my guiding post? Is because really whatever the potential, that's going to be the indicating factor that's going to come out to be an actuality. And therefore, it could almost be that you're sidestepping this whole entire question by saying, no, the potential is important, but you're not saying it because that reigns supreme on its own, as itself. It only reigns supreme is because that's really the indicating what's going to be in actuality. But here we're saying something entirely different. The Hakadosh Baruch Hu does not need to follow any form of order, and the Hakadosh Baruch Hu could make it that the land should be created first, if that's how he so wishes. And nevertheless, that you might say, no, you're not following the idea. It's not just as a potential point that because this is the potential that is going to become the future, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need that. So what is it that he's trying to bring about? He's trying to bring about the point that in any scenario, the recognition of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the source of how it is in the source, that is really the end goal. Now, with Paul, it comes out, expresses itself in different ways, but that's just because we need tools to express things. But that doesn't mean that is the point. We find this argument in other places. So let's just go through them. When you have, when you think of something for liquid that you actually want it, so that could be a source of getting food tameh, because liquid falling on food will make that food potentially tameh in case of tameh touches it. And the question is regarding honey. At what point does the honey could serve as the liquid? So he thought about it of becoming a liquid that he's going to use it, but he didn't put it to action. He actually didn't take the honey out of the honeycombs. Does that serve as the starting point, or does he actually need to take the honey out of the honeycombs? And obviously you understand what side of the aisle Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel stand at. When he did it, when he thought about it, it's almost the end game according to Beit Shammai, and therefore it already serves as liquid. Beit Hillel, no, nothing happened, because we live in a world that things need to be expressed. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted this world to be created. We find this by Chanukah. When I stand today in the first day of Chanukah, what am I celebrating? The question is, the answers are clear. Beit Hillel says, what do you mean you're celebrating the first day of Chanukah? Beit Shammai is saying, what are you talking about? You have over here 8 days of Chanukah that are being celebrated. We're entering the holiday. I'm excited. I'm elated because I have 8 days of Chanukah. The last day I'm a little bit, I'm with 1 day left. And therefore, he flips the order regarding how many you light. You light the first 8 and the last set 1. This is also unique because it brings about this idea that Beit Shammai are going with this idea to the very end. It's not that only when it's fully aligned with what's expressed in physicality, in actuality. Because the Paul, in actuality, the last day of Chanukah, they're telling you to light 1, and there's 7 days here. So it's almost like it's flying in the face of what's happening in actuality, and they still maintain with that opinion. And then we find the same idea regarding we find the same idea regarding what is Rosh Hashanah for the trees. We know it's a delay of 4 months until they actually the water serves the trees. The question is, at what point are they judged on water? So Beit Hillel says, you judge on water Sukkot, the 15th of Tishrei, 4 months later Shvat, 14th of Shvat. Beit Shammai say, no, what do you mean? But Paul, in actuality you were judged on Sukkot, but really the judgment of water is at its source is judged on Rosh Hashanah. And this is also with the student of Beit Shammai, we find this argument. When are you going to sleep? At what point are you going to sleep? When are you going to sleep? Beit Shammai says, you're going to sleep when you are putting everything in motion for the sleep to come. Period. Why? Because that's when sleep is actually happening. But Paul, you're sleeping, 8 hours, you're sleeping the night. But when are you actually, when in the truest form, in the form of potential, in the form of not physical, in the form of preparation, when is this happening? When the first third of the night. And therefore do not reach Shema post that. Beit Hillel says, no, when is sleeping happening? I don't care when it took shape, when it took form, when I started getting ready. When are you sleeping? You're sleeping the whole night. Say Shema the whole night, like the pasuk says. You could say Shema all the time you're sleeping, but Beit Shammai understand that pasuk, that literal meaning of the pasuk, b'shach b'cha, meaning at the time that you're preparing to go to sleep. We find this also. We say Hallel and Korban and Leil Pesach, but the problem is there's a pasuk that says B'tzeit Yisrael we're leaving Egypt, we're leaving. So Korban Pesach needs to be eaten. The first time it was eaten, and then it was eaten, and then they left. So the following day, so the Beit Shammai say, I need to have eaten the Korban Pesach in order to be able to leave Egypt. And therefore, for me to say before I eat the Korban Pesach, to say even B'tzat Yisrael that I'm leaving Egypt is a fallacy, and don't say it. Stop by saying before B'tzat Yisrael, because I said, anyways, you're not leaving Egypt right now. You're leaving Egypt tomorrow, after Chatzot. Hey, so what does it make a difference? You're just saying the Hallel. You're not saying, and therefore, the before the Korban Pesach or after Korban Pesach is not a key factor. But back to Beit Shammai, they say, in potential, we're able to leave. What brought us the ability to leave Egypt, like we said in the previous, is that eating the Korban Pesach. If you haven't eaten the Korban Pesach, so then you don't have the potential of leaving Egypt. If you have eaten the Korban Pesach and you're potentially able to leave Egypt, so that's it. So that's what else matters? It matters that you actually need to do the motions and leave Egypt. You and your capacity are able to leave Egypt at that very moment. So it's over. So say B'tzat Yisrael. And beforehand, don't. Now, the Rebbe says that being that we're time to leave the Galut, so we do not rule like Beit Shammai, and we say we want to leave the Galut in all actuality with like the pasuk says, Mikneinu Yenechimanu, and we're not going to leave even a parsah to men in the Kaf. We're going to take all with us. And it says, like the other pasuk says in Yeshayahu, we want our elders, we want our youngsters, with our children, with our sons and with our daughters, with all of our assets, because this is going to be a holiday.